I do want to talk about Ace Bailey a little bit because I think that Ace is really having a great preseason to start, right? And it was interesting. Like I just tossed on the first, half of Washington and Toronto, right? Like while, kind of waiting for you and getting ready and all that stuff, right? And it was interesting. Like I felt like they had Trey Johnson handling the ball a lot more than Ace has, like in any way, shape, or form. And in Utah, they're running Ace off of a ton of actions. They're minimizing the handle, right? Like the reason that I loved Ace in Utah and why I talked about that pre-draft, I think there's literally a clip out there of me saying that like the best thing for Ace Bailey is to go to Utah because Will Hardy like has a proof of concept on these guys that he really knows how to like deal with play finishers who can shoot the shit out of the ball, right? Like he is unbelievable creating actions, creating flowing offense to be able to create positive infrastructures for a player like Ace Bailey to be able to score. And Ace looks great so far. Like he looks fantastic running off these actions. He is so like quick and covers ground so quickly and is a very, very comfortable shooter. Like the thing that I think people kind of got wrong just looking at the numbers is that Ace like might be a questionable shooter in some way because of the percentages. That dude's going to shoot the shit out of the ball. I think like I had no doubts about him shooting the ball coming in, which is why like I think my floor on Ace was like way higher than what everybody else's seemed to be. Like I thought that at the very least he's going to be like a very good rotation player in the NBA because you can just use him as a play finisher at the end of the day if necessary, and like he'll knock down shots. I think that what he's showing though is the willingness to stay within scheme, to stay within concept, and to be able to make plays that way. And I think it's important to note that context, right? Like if we put Ace in the Trey Johnson role right now, where like, and again, this comes from watching a half of basketball. I don't want to sit here and like make grand, statements on anything. But I will note that like Will Dawkins said in the preseason that, Trey Johnson's a great worker and we're going to use this like year. He said this in not so many words, like it's a developmental year for these guys where Trey might get to like expand his skill set a little bit beyond, right? I wonder if they would have Ace like handling the ball a little bit more, and thus he might look a little bit worse than he does now in Utah, where in Utah they have him just like running off actions, looking like his best self in the way that we thought that he could if he found that right situation. So I love the way this has worked out for Ace Bailey. Like I think this is such a really, really positive situation for him. And, like, again, like all the stuff off the court with Ace, like if Ace doesn't go to Utah, and he ends up in Washington, which is what I'm not taking shots at Washington to be clear when I do this, but like, if he ends up in Washington, which was his representation's goal seemingly throughout the pre-draft process, does he fire the representation, right? Which he, has done according to reports. Like, does he continue to get the right voices in his ear? Like, you just never know how these things are going to work out. But I do know that seemingly Ace has found like the perfect fit in Utah at this point. And that's what's most exciting. I am going to do a breakdown on Ace Bailey in the preseason here over on the Game Theory Substack channel, which, by the way, the Game Theory Substack channel, go subscribe over at the Game Theory Substack channel, gametheorysamv.substack.com. Last week, we had videos on Shaden Sharp. We had videos on Michael Brown. Bryce, who did you do? You did Cooper, right?
Yep, Cooper Flag.
That was last week. Yeah. So we have so much stuff going up. This week, we will have Ace Bailey. We will have 2 breakdowns on Darren Peterson, a guy we're going to talk about a lot today as well. Go to the Game Theory Substack channel, gametheorysamv.substack.com. Bryce, any thoughts on what I just kind of said?
Yeah, no, I mean, I got to watch a game, as I mentioned at the top. I watched the Jazz versus Spurs, took a bunch of notes. I won't go through all of it. I have some defensive notes as well as he took on the Devin Vassell matchup in that game. But to specifically talk to what you brought up, he really looks like an off-ball, I'll call advantage exploiter, where when he gets an advantage created for him, and whether that's somebody driving kick or more specifically for Utah, they had like a DHA, he got a curl off of that to a backdoor finish. He got a one dribble pull up off like a zoom-ish type action at the top of the key. They just continuously ran good actions for him to get these looks, not just like stand in the corner on the weak side and then we'll get you a drive and kick. They were involving him in the actions, but it wasn't like, hey, go run, pick and roll or something like that. So I think it's very smart. It's very strategic. That allows him to catch and shoot or 1-2 dribble into shot attempts where the advantage is already created for him. So I like that a lot. Obviously, he's really knocked down shots. I have thoughts on the defense as well, but overall offensively, off the ball in that role, he looks very good through. Again, I've watched that game specifically and then listening to you talk about the other game that I have not watched with my own eyes.